Oh, right. We're here. JC and Spencer doing the hot corner. What gives? Obviously, Strauss can't do it. It's like 1 in the morning in Hong Kong. So for the second to last week, JC and I will be man in the hot corner here this week. JC, how's it going?
Never been better, man. You know, these insiders, they're stepping in. People are buying stocks, raging bull market, new 52-week highs for the Dow Jones Industrial Average, new 52-week highs for the NASDAQ, S&P 500, All Country World Index. I was promised a banking crisis. We're now making new 4-month highs in the Regional Bank Index. Seems like the only crisis is in the wallets of those perma bulls, those perma bears there, Spencer.
Yep. So every day we scan the markets for the biggest insider transactions from executives to hedge funds to congressmen. And any stock that shows up on that list goes into our hot corner universe, which we then keep tabs on. Just because a big transaction was made 6 months or a year ago doesn't mean we forget about it. We keep it in the universe, and then every week we like to go through that universe and look at which charts look the best, frankly. So let's go here. Start with some macro stuff.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously, nothing we talk about should be construed as any sort of solicitation. These are not buy or sell recommendations. All this is strictly for informational purposes alone. But also charts.com/terms. Check it all out there. And, just to understand the type of market environment we're in, it's really important. Just because Carl Icahn's YOLOing, some pharmaceutical stock or, some CEO is buying a ton of his own stock, like that's great and everything. We're definitely going to look closer. We're not just going to blindly follow them. The idea is to first understand what type of market environment we're in and then decide which tools and strategies are best for that environment. Maybe we're in an environment where we don't want to be buying stocks. We just want to keep tabs on what the insiders are buying, use that as information. So when it's time to put money to work, we already have our go-to. Sometimes there's such a big splash on such a great opportunity that let's just go, right? So it just really depends on the market environment. This has been the catalyst all along, the US dollar. With the stronger dollar, you saw stocks come under pressure. Since the dollar has been declining since the end of the third quarter last year, it's really just been a raging bull market across the board, not just in the United States, but all over the world. Stocks is an asset class, and the U.S. dollar is now making new 52-week lows at the same time that the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dow, the All Country World Index, they're all making new 52-week highs. This is the largest sector in America, technology, representing over 26% of the S&P 500, making new all-time highs. Apple and Microsoft represent almost half this entire index. Both of them are making new all-time highs. Those are the two largest companies in the world. Meanwhile, I'm being told that, the technology stocks are like a defensive trade. It's a flight to safety, these tech stocks. And it's like, well, there's never been any evidence of that ever in market history. So I don't know why that would start now. And you can make that argument all you want that technology is defensive, but what about industrials making new all-time highs? What about the fact that regional bank stocks are also now breaking out to new 4-month highs, building, carving out a nice, impressive bottom here. And then when you talk about the back half winners, what's going to lead the way in the back half? I think energy's got a shot, and energy represents 5-6% of the S&P 500 last I checked. It represents a whopping 0.0% of the NASDAQ, FYI. The NASDAQ 100 is not the market. The NASDAQ 100 has zero exposure to energy, zero exposure to materials, zero exposure to financials, virtually no exposure to industrials. The NASDAQ is not the stock market. And even in the S&P 500, which is much more diversified, you're not getting any energy at all. So these energy stocks could triple. They're not going to make a dent on the S&P 500 at all. But I continue to be impressed with the fact that crude oil is finding support at those former resistance levels near 2018. Bank of America Fund Manager Survey just came out, and you're seeing that fund managers are the most bearish of commodities since April of 2020. And if you recall, in April of 2020, crude oil was trading $30 below zero. So they are as bearish of commodities now as they were then. Do you remember that, Spencer? Do you recall?
That was one of those days I'll never forget. Didn't know that was possible. Honestly, didn't know you could do that.
Learn something new every day. We used to have a joke, us market traders talk about, oh, there's support at
zero. Yeah, there isn't.
You can't use that anymore. Use that anymore.
No.
All right, so let's talk about a few names. Transocean. This used to be like $180 billion stock or something like that. Now it's two. And I say that, not to diss on it, but just to put things in perspective, just, the lengthy secular bear market in energy stocks is just, sort of capitulating with crude oil trading below zero. Like, in my opinion, that was the end of that bear market in commodities. Really, crude oil trading below zero is probably a pretty good catalyst to kind of turn that sucker around. That's exactly what we've seen. As you can see here, Transocean is up, I don't know, 1,500% or something like that since crude oil traded below zero. So you're seeing a director stepping in, filing a Form 4, buying $250,000 worth of stock a few months ago. I like it long if we're above 775. It puts us back above those former support levels, back above resistance. Target up near 14. That looks good. Oceaneering International, OII. So just to kind of give some perspective, OII, we're talking about this is a equipment and services company, $2 billion. And another to my earlier point, I was talking about how a lot of these energy stocks could triple and they're not going to make a dent on the S&P 500. These are great examples. Like, they're just not, like, you don't have $3 trillion stocks in energy. Like, that doesn't exist. Many years ago, ExxonMobil was the largest company in the world, but far from it these days. ExxonMobil, I think, could go up 10 times over and still not be, right? So that's how far down these things have come, and that's how much others have appreciated. But here's an interesting one. Another insider stepping in. We're above 21.5. I like this one long. Target near 34. This one, OII. And then in the financials, these asset managers really are doing well. Some of the brokers, some of the exchanges. We talked about Interactive Brokers earlier today, S&P Global, ICE, some of these exchanges and the asset management. This is a good one too. Director buying a ton of stock.
Well, you know what's funny?
Base.
You know what's funny about this? Actually, it's not that much stock. They only bought, I think, 5,000 shares. I'm seeing. In any case, that was August of last year. Okay, there actually has not been a single insider buy in Apollo since then. This is the last one. So, fun fact.
Yeah, and just to reiterate why it is that we do this. When we're looking at these insider transactions, whether it's Nancy Pelosi YOLOing Tesla calls, or if it's the CEO of Coinbase buying $10 million worth of stock, like, all that's great and everything. But at the end of the day, all we're doing is aggregating a list of stocks where more informed participants than us are using their capital to make a bet on information that they have that we don't have, right? That's really all it is. Just because Nancy's YOLOing Tesla calls doesn't mean we want to, right? It's just going to put the stock on the radar. It's just going to put it into this universe of stock. And then when we're ready to step in, based on our own parameters, because I don't know Nancy's risk tolerance or time horizon or overall objectives. I have no idea. I don't know her. I've never met her. I'm sure she's a nice lady. Maybe she's a terrible person. I have no idea. All it means if Tommy Tuberville down in Alabama is buying stock or buying commodities or whatever it is, it's just going to put it on the map. That's really all it is. And then we decide. And at this point, it's really setting up nicely above 81, puts us above the 2021 highs. If we're not above 81, you can't own it, right? It's that simple. So you got a nice clean line in the sand. We're above 81. I like this one long. Target up near 103. And then this one's an old legend here at All Star Charts. This is an industrial stock, $40 billion, industrial machinery in particular. Hasn't broken out yet. So as you can see, Apollo working on a breakout. Whether it sticks it or not, I don't know. But it's already working on that breakout. Rockwell still not. Looking for a breakout above 355. Again, very similar pattern. Look at those late 2021 highs in Apollo. Look at the late 2021 highs in Rockwell. Breakout above 355. I like this one long. Target near 450. Another example of one of the insiders stepping in and buying shares. Now, here's an interesting one. Last summer, the CEO of Pinterest bought $5 million worth of stock. Nice timing there, right at the bottom. Absolutely nailed it. Has continued to base. So even though he's up, it's been a choppy ride for him. I like paying up, knowing that we're heading higher instead of sideways. Nice trade there, Mr. CEO of Pinterest, Mr. Benjamin Silberman. And if we are above 29, I like this one long, target up near 44. I like this one a lot. Again, if we're above 29, we're right now sitting around $30. A nice clean line in the sand here in Pinterest. And then, of course, monster purchases from the co-founder of Coinbase, $50 million worth of stock. Even before this one came on the radar on the hot corner, this was already a name that we were looking to buy. Target up near 115, and that was hit over the last week. For those of you who don't know, I took a lot of money off the table in crypto, and by a lot of money, I took it all off virtually. I actually just got off the phone with NFTFi because I need to wrap my CryptoPunk to be able to borrow against it. It's like this whole thing.
I don't even know what the words you're saying right now. So,
well, this is in the metaverse stuff there, Spencer. Okay. You and I will have a sit down one day.
Sure. By the way, I think these purchases from Brian Armstrong is the CEO and chairman.
No, it was not Brian Armstrong. No, it was the co-founder. It was the other one.
Oh, it was the other guy?
Yep, it was the other guy. It was Emily Choi or something. Maybe it was Frederick Ernest Ursam III. I think that's who it was. I think it was Frederick Ernest Ursam III. I believe is who it was.
Okay, never mind then. Yeah, and it was a substantial purchase.
Yeah, $50 million is not nothing, but we want to stay away from this one for the reasons that we discussed before. I sold all my Bitcoin. I sold all my Marathon. At this point, I didn't own any Coinbase. At this point, no Riot either. But I'm going to sit tight. If we break out above 115, I want to buy it. In the meantime, I'm just going to sit tight like I am in all the other ones. And then, of course, this is the one that I just sold. It hit our target. We have this thing around here at All-Star Charts called discipline. And when our targets are achieved, unless there's a really good reason, and to be fair, I was bringing up some of those reasons like, man, this thing has done so well. Bitcoin hasn't even broken out. Maybe I'm going to hold on to it. And I said last Friday, I said, you know what? Target hit. I'm out. So it's kind of just been churning around. You know, if we start taking out 20 once again, I'm in. I think you're looking at a 3-bagger. If we break out above 20, I want to be long Mara, especially if Bitcoin's breaking out above 31,000. In that case, target up near 60. And short and sweet today. I think we just about covered it. Any questions that you have, Spencer? Tell the folks where to find us.
Yeah, you can always email the email on the screen. Again, the Hot Corner goes out every single day. It's a free daily note. This weekly call, obviously, we do it every week. We don't do it every single day, but it's not about all the insider transactions from the last week. It's just about all of the stocks within our insider transaction, our Hot Corner universe, which ones look the best right now. That's the whole point. If you want to get the Hot Corner, email us that email on the screen, and we'll be back next week. And then in 2 weeks, finally, Steve Straza will be back with you to do.
Are they actually going to come back? I think they're having too much fun. I don't think they want to come back.
You're right. I'm not convinced they'll be back either. I'm just trying to be positive here. But all right. Thanks everyone for watching. Unfortunately, we can't really take requests on this show. If you have a request, save it for CRL and Chart Request Live tomorrow at 1:00 Eastern time. And that's it. Everyone have a good one.
Rock and roll. Adios.